Welcome back, guys, to my episode of Gabriel Night. Where we left off, we sat in a lecture and watched as Gabriel exhibit the typical tired individual university student fall asleep during a lecture. Of course, he taped it. You'd think the tape would have continued. No. Kind of sad. Because I imagine we would have got some really useful information from that. We did. Not gonna lie, we did. Discover the coffin. Discover the knife. They are basically artifacts towards the ritual, which I bet you is part of this. But we are going to now bug the professor and see how much we can kind of get out of him.
Not if it will get you out of my office.
Exactly. We're going to pick his brain. Alright, as usual, we are going to ask the infamous question
what can you tell me about
Voodoo.
Voodoo? You already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight. Perhaps next time you could stay awake and learn something.
Well,
what can you tell me? You already sat through.
Nope.
What do you know about the Voodoo murders? I've read about them in the papers. I must admit to some interest. But according to the newspapers, the Voodoo aspect is faked, so I haven't really pursued it. You know how Americans, especially Hollywood, treats Voodoo. I'm sure there are many so-called practitioners out there that have no idea what they're doing or the power they're playing with.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I find it interesting to see the occasional fragment of Voodoo practices in the everyday culture of New Orleans.
What do you know about the Voodoo
I guess I should double-click.
As I said, I don't know anything but what the papers say. According to them, there's no reason for me to be interested.
Actually, should be very interested because it has a lot of things.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
Research.
The Catholic Church has always dominated in New Orleans, and its imagery, in turn, has dominated New Orleans Voodoo.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
If there's more you wish to know, perhaps you should read my books.
I hate to say this, but his hair bugs me. I think just because of how big of a forehead he has, that just bugs me.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm not a zoologist, Mr. Knight, but I know all I care to about reptiles.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm not a zoologist.
What can you tell me about
I don't think we'll get much out of him too much later.
Eve. It's June 23rd, the feast day of St. John the Baptist. The June 23rd has been a sacred day since the earliest times. Ancient sun worshippers used to roll a flaming wheel down a hill to celebrate the sun's descent on that day.
A burning wheel? Huh.
Yeah, I was thinking, isn't it June 20th in the game? Or June 19th? Either or, we're getting pretty quick to that.
What
St.
can
John's
you tell
Eve.
me about St. John's Eve?
I'm not in the habit of...
Oh.
Do you have any idea what Cabri sans Coeur means?
Cabri sans Coeur. Yes, I do. It's a Haitian term, I believe. It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
As in a female goat?
No, as in a human sacrifice. Sacrifices in Voodoo are usually of the animal variety. Chickens, wolves, goats. If the gods demand a goat without horns, it means a human being.
Ah. Well, yay, we found out what it is, but
What was that translation for Cabri sans Coeur again?
I'm not in the habit of repeating myself.
Okay, we need to check our tape recorders to see what he said when he said that.
Do you know anything about Marie
That's
Laveau?
kind of scary.
While I find the colloquial bastardizations of Voodoo somewhat interesting from a sheerly intellectual point of view, there's not a lot of relation between people like Laveau and true Voodoo practices.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
I'm not in the habit...
Okay, so
Do
yeah.
you know anything about animal masks?
I'll repeat himself.
As I said in my lecture, which I assume you actually listened to, is that animal masks, totems, are used extensively in most African Voodoo religions.
Do you know any...
I'm not in the...
Yes, it sounds like we're dealing with the African.
Tell me about Veves.
Ancient stuff.
If you'd taken notes during my lecture, you wouldn't have to ask.
Oh, fine.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
I'm afraid I can't help you there, Mr. Knight.
Tell me...
If you...
Have you...
So I'm just gonna double check that.
Tell me
and
about
himself.
yourself.
All right, Mr. Knight, I'm 35, a fully tenured professor at this university, as well as a fellow at Cambridge. My doctorate was obtained at Syracuse. Yes, Syracuse, in religious studies. I'm an agnostic, but I find human belief systems fascinating. I specialize in African religions because I grew up there. My father was a Protestant missionary. And I am heterosexual, when I practice sex at all, which isn't very often. Any other questions?
No.
Fine.
A little too much information there.
I'd
I'm
really
just
like...
gonna
There have been
stuff
several
again.
articles written about me, Mr. Knight, as well as blurbs on my book jackets. If you want a biography, read.
I'd really like
else?
to know more about you.
There have been several articles written about me, Mr. Knight, as well as blurbs on my book jackets. If you want a biography, read.
Okay, so nothing else. Let's talk about the...
Tell me more about
sacrifice.
human sacrifice.
It's, very rare. Most voodoo practices do not include human sacrifice as a matter of record, but it is theoretically possible if that's the gods demand. For example, one of the chants I had translated for me from a Haitian ritual went like this. Mistress Erzulie, come and aid us. If a cock is demanded, we will give it. If a bull will suffice, behold it. But if a goat without horns is required for sacrifice, oh, where will we find one? Erzulie is the gentlest of Loa, so they call on her for mercy. But I have seen grown and powerful Hungan tremble before a possession by one of the more violent Loa, such as Papa. Clearly, they are afraid that something of the sort will be ordered, or that the Loa will simply take it for themselves.
Huh.
Tell me
okay.
more about human sacrifice.
I wouldn't dwell on it. Most voodoo sects probably haven't seen a human sacrifice for several generations.
Okay, so we're done here. I'm kind of curious which Loa the Jaguar Cheetah one was in the dream. That's the one I'm very curious about. Let's show him this. I know he's gonna know what it is.
Can you tell me anything about this pattern?
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Mind if I copy this?
You're my guest.
Great. I'll be right back.
Is this a trap? Oh, nope, never mind. Everything's hunky-dory.
Here you go. You know, this is a fascinating baby. You must tell me all about its origin.
Actually, I was hoping you'd tell me. Can you figure out anything about it from the symbols?
Well, some. That's why I wanted a copy. I want to research the design myself. Each of the symbols in the bebe represents something, a loa, a place. Where did you get this?
Have you heard of the Voodoo murders?
No, you're kidding. Really? Then the voodoo is authentic. The newspapers are wrong. Boy, are they wrong.
You think this Veve is authentic, then?
Authentic? Mr. Knight, that's like asking if the Mona Lisa is a painting. Tell you what, I'll look into these symbols myself and see what I can learn about the sect that made this. I'll give you a call when I have more information. You are associated with the police, aren't you?
Absolutely. But I'm, undercover. You can contact me at the St. George's bookshop in the quarter.
All right. Now, I'd like to get started on this if you don't mind.
Good, good. You do that. What else can I show him? Is this to show him that? You know what? We're gonna show Willie Jr. Oh.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
I'm just imagining the whole, can you tell me about this giant crocodile head on the desk? And then shoving it back in his coat. What else? I want to show him this. like, I betcha he's gonna know something about it.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I've never seen those symbols. Therefore, they're probably meaningless.
Really? Are you sure?
I am never wrong, Mr. Knight. Therefore, sure is not in my vocabulary.
Well, you just suck. I know I can show him that, Voodoo Murders picture. I'm gonna show him the, gambling, spray stuff.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
Okay, so I know they're gonna ask for the Voodoo Murders. I know he didn't say much about lizards or snakes. I'm just gonna show him the snake scale.
Can you tell me anything about
some hope.
this?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
Yeah, he can't. Okay, then yes, we will show him the picture of the dead dude.
Is there anything you can tell me about the voodoo aspects of this photograph?
This is serious voodoo ritual. Nasty stuff.
In what way?
Let's see. I can't make out much detail from this photograph. Except for the corpse, of course. But the wound, the face, and what little I can see of the ritual paraphernalia. Reminds me of certain black voodoo practices. Very rare. I've never witnessed them myself, you understand?
Really? Interesting. Thanks.
Okay, so we're dealing with the black voodoo. What was this again?
The
I can't
letter is
remember.
addressed.
Okay. And that's the phone book. Oh, I wonder if you knew about the, drawings. Let's show him those.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
I think we're done with him. Yes, I think I'm done. Alright. Actually, I'm curious. Let's bug him once
For
more.
a few more questions?
Gee, I'd love to.
See if he's got anything else new. Black voodoo. Okay, we can bug about that. That's everything.
Tell me
Let's
what you
go
mean
click
by
it.
black voodoo.
Well, like any religion, the beliefs can tend toward positive or negative ends. Can be used for good or evil. Christianity, for example, has its doppelganger, Satanism. Anytime you attempt to set up an icon to explain evil, you invite some warped mind to worship it. The same is true of voodoo. There are those who are drawn by and desire personal power from the darker, bloodier Loa.
Okay.
Can you give me an example?
All right. There is a very secret, very dark cult in Haiti called the Cult de Mort, Cult of the Dead. Their primary Loa is Abanebo, Loa of the Cemetery. They practice a particularly disgusting form of necromancy, magic using the dead. They dig up corpses and use their decaying bodies for various spells and curses.
So would that be affiliated with like the zombie voodoo part of it? That's curiosity. Same time, I kind of guess I'm gonna be dealing with them. It's just a very subtle hint with the fact that the graveyard, the writing. I'm kind of thinking we're gonna be dealing with them. Just a little bit of a
Can you
hunch.
give me
of a
another
hunch.
example of black voodoo?
In tribal Africa, there were, and still are, black Bokors, shamans bent towards the dark, who not only practice necromancy, but also human sacrifice.
And a shaman. We'll be dealing with one of those.
Is
too.
there
Good
anything
chance.
else you can tell me about black voodoo?
Only that if it's being practiced in this city, none of us are safe.
Is there any...
Only that if it's being...
Yeah. Okay, so we're done here. Yeah. I am assuming we are done with him, so let's escape out of here. There we go.
Okay, thanks.
Good day, Mr. Knight.
Bye. And I don't...
The podium. A projection screen dominates the front of the hall.
I don't think
Those
there's anything
doors
special to
lead to
see
the
here.
projection booth.
Can we open the projection booth doors?
Gabriel does not need to enter the projection booth.
Never mind. Let's go get this. Oh. Oh.
Gabriel scans the bulletin board. Greek night at the Alpha Psi Omega frat house. It looks like it took place sometime last spring. Gabriel scans the bulletin board. There's a notice for a lecture on investigative reporting techniques to be given by octogenarian Pulitzer Prize winner Laura Bo Dorian. Unfortunately, it's weeks away. By that time, Gabriel will have to have learned on his own.
Oh my god, Laura Bow! Sorry. That's so exciting.
Gabriel
Oh, Easter
scans
egg.
the bulletin board. Need a ride to LA the last weekend in August.
I wouldn't go there if you paid me.
Gabriel scans the bulletin board. Work out of your home and make up to $2,000 a week in your spare time. Call 555-6789.
I actually called them once. You sell cat food over the phone.
Oh, weird.
Gabriel scans the bulletin board. Ha! We'll do algebra or biology homework for food. Gabriel scans the bulletin board. Jazz jam session every Tuesday at 7 in the music building. Gabriel scans the bulletin board. Haircuts for $10 a head. Perms for $20 at the Tulane Beauty School West Campus.
Like I'd let an amateur touch these locks.
Gabriel scans the
Oh,
bulletin
bulletin boards.
board. Greek night.
Okay, now we're done. Alright, let's get out of here. Where to? Yeah, that gives you more options to,
Please select.
Okay, I can't leave.
Please select.
There, no icon. Then you what? Go ahead. Here, see if we can get an icon. That's weird. Am I just stuck here? I wonder if it's just because he's doing research. I guess we'll bug him and see.
Mr. Knight, you're back. Oh, goody.
I got to see if you are done with this.
Partridge made a copy.
Boop.
Have you had any luck
Maybe
with
so
that
with him?
bevy?
I'm still working on it, Mr. Knight. When I'm finished,
Okay, well, let's try exiting again, I guess.
Okay, thanks.
goodbye.
Okay, I don't know why I can't leave normal. I know I think French Quarter I could. Oh, derp. Really? Okay, sorry, brain fart. Yay, brain fart. Okay. Actually, with that embarrassing brain fart, I am going to end the episode here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying the episode, as usual. If you do, like, comment, make sure, let me know how I'm doing, and of course subscribe, keeps you up to date on when I post new episodes. And with that, you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye!